Hey, this is Scott from the Southview Farm. It's been a while since I've made a video, so I thought I'd do a little farm update today. I took off work last week, and we worked like crazy last week. I had a lot of video content that I wished I would have recorded, but we were pressed for time, and it takes a lot of time to do these videos, and I didn't catch a lot of it. But last week of course, it's hay season right now. Last week we baled our hay. We set up our garden. We've got some new additions to the farm, and I'm going to show you that today. I'm heading out right now to the hog lot, and we're going to feed the hogs some scraps. And I thought we would just do a little update while we're out here feeding. So you can see, we got all the hay put up last week. We worked on hay for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And I think since I've done a video, we've also got Rachel's got her little garden set up up here, and we've got tomatoes and some corn and beans and peppers and stuff like that planted in it. Here's two new additions right here. The goat that's running across the road there, that's Lady. We got her off the same people that we got Rebel from. We got her last Wednesday, and she's lactating. She had a baby back in April, and the owners bottle fed that baby. But anyway, we bought her to add to our Alpine herd. Rachel's been milking her every morning and every evening, and I probably haven't done a video to show Betty's new baby. She had her on Mother's Day. We call her Little Betty, or Baby Betty. But here's Betty's baby, and she is very healthy. Very healthy and very curious. And there's bacon and sausage. They've grown a lot since we've had them on video. I guess they're probably getting close to 100 pounds now. I just fed them some scraps, some macaroni salad. But they're doing really well. We've got a kill date for them in October. So they'll move to a new home this winter in our freezer. Here's the three girls. We've got a bunch of trash on the ground. We've had to clean out our loft to make room for hay. And we built this barn's nasty from the birds. But we built this goat stanchion, I think is how you pronounce it, this week for Rachel to kind of hold the goats while Rachel milks, and we use it to give shots, trim hooves, stuff like that. We made this all out of scrap, so we don't have a dime in it. I found that little, I guess it's called a colt feeder, but it just hangs off of like a 2x4. found that in the barn. All the rest of the stuff is just scrap. The floor is made out of old fence boards and 2x4s, and you just goat will come up on the platform, put its head through, and then you just push this together, and then I just made this little lock here to lock it in, and then you got place for feed so they can eat a little bit while they're keep them entertained while you're milking, or trimming hooves, or giving them shots and stuff like that. And then you just pull the pin, and it's a little stiff, but you just open it back up to release. But we did that made that last week. Should have done a video on it, but we were pressed for time. The chickens and stuff have been sitting on it and pooping all over it. I'll go back here and see. We've got 2 ducks. The ducks kind of went broody on us. One's off her nest. There's 2 in that nest. There's a nest here. So I don't know what those ducks are doing. You got 2 in the same nest over here. And you got a duck egg laying here on the floor. But I don't know. Little Betty follows you everywhere. We got the hayloft cleaned out. This hayloft was so full of stuff that you could not walk through it. So we cleaned it out to try to make room for hay. We didn't get, it's kind of disappointing, we didn't get very much hay off the hay bottom this year. We got, I mean, it was like right at 200 bales. It was either 198 bales or 204 bales. I'm not for sure. But it was right at 200 bales. Our bales, we had to do some adjustment to our baler, and still didn't come out exactly right. We were getting a lot of banana bales. We got that figured out, and our bales started coming out square, and I didn't check them, and our bales ended up being kind of loose. But we'll know next time. They were easy to carry, that's for sure. They're pretty light bales. But that was a major thing, was getting this barn loft cleaned up. We had it all cleaned up at I built that goat stanchion up here, and we had we've got chairs and tools and stuff laying out everywhere. Our Lavender Orpington rooster, he got attacked by a hawk, and I pulled all the feathers out of his tail. Betty's peeing. And a hawk got one of our, we had 2 golden laced Wyandotte hens. Hawk got one of those here in the past couple weeks, so we've lost. They also got one of our Lavender Orpington chicks. But these are the chicks I showed in the video here not too long ago. There was 9 of them hatched. We hatched in the incubator, and they've really grown up. The hen was sitting on, like I said, there's trash still laying out here where we threw it out of the barn. But the hen, the Lavender Orpington hen, she set on, she went broody too, set on eggs, and she hatched 3, and that's hers. Those smaller ones there those smaller ones there are the ones that she hatched. And then we had the Golden Comets, Rogers Golden Comets. They should be ready to start laying. We still got 18 of those. We haven't lost any of those, knock on wood. And they should be, I think Golden Comets start laying at 15 weeks, so they should be any day now. Right there's the spot where our old hay baler used to sit. I bought that off of Paul Williamson from Williamson Ridge Outdoors. Check his channel out. Does a lot of reviews on weed eaters, chainsaws, all kinds of stuff. Got a lot of nice equipment that he has on his channel. Bought that off of him. That hay baler was actually in a few of his videos. Bought a hay baler off of him. I've showed it in the earlier videos that we've had. We planned on getting it fixed. It was out of time. I ended up getting a new hay baler, or newer. We sold the old hay baler that you would see in some of our videos. We sold it the other day. And the neighbor was wanting square bales. He's got a round baler. Our neighbor, we got a great neighbor. He was wanting square bales, and we decided to get a newer hay baler. So we got that one back there, and it worked flawlessly, pretty much. It's a mid-60s model New Holland 268, and really didn't have, once we figured it out, I didn't have any problems with it at all. Started baling Tuesday morning, Tuesday about 11, 12 o'clock once the dew burned off, and once we got it raked, and it did great. Here's the turkeys. Last time I think I had the turkeys in the video, they were still kind of like turkey biddies, but those are broad-breasted whites, I think is what they are, but they grow fast, and they're annoying. So it's about time for, I think I'm about ready to slaughter those. We done some rearranging. This is where all the Golden Comets, I see where all the Golden Comets are hanging out there back here where it's cool. We brought our bass boat. Our bass boat's been in storage for about 2 years now. Brought it over, and we took it out on Lake Sunday. Really the only issue we had with on hay was our sickle bar mower. Our sickle bar mower did great. I noticed it was missing, it was getting clogged up where the swath board is. It would get clogged up, the grass would clump up on the end of it, and then it would start missing grass. So I ended up having an older knife that had been replaced sitting up in the barn loft. I thought, well, I looked at the knife that was in the mower and noticed that the very last blade was broke, and I thought, well, that one might be duller up in the barn, but it has all the blades. So I put the older knife in the sickle bar mower and went to start cutting. We had about half the hay left to cut, and it was dull. It was just like taking dull scissors and trying to cut something that it wouldn't cut. It bind up, and then the belt would start slipping on the sickle bar mower. So we ended up having to have the neighbor help us out, and he cut the other half of the hay bottom with his disc mower. So I think I could have cut the rest of it. It just would have been slow, but I think I could have cut the rest of it if I hadn't messed around with the knife on the sickle bar mower. But we got to get that fixed before next cut. So we know how it runs, and it does cut decent if all the blades aren't, if it doesn't have broken blades, it cuts good. So we'll get that fixed. Another issue that kind of slowed us down with our hay was this tedder. It's a Baltic. I think they sell that at some kind of ag place like Tractor Supply or Rural King. I think it's called Ag. People out Midwest, maybe somewhere. We don't have any of those stores around here, but I think it's Agco or Agra something. I can't remember the name of the store, but they're a dealer of those. You can buy them online, and they're belt driven, and I picked that up fairly cheap. And of course the belt slips. So I tried to tighten up the belt. I put the tines, put everything in time. It runs for a while, and then the tines start hitting together. It goes out of time. So I got aggravated. I just kept on running, and it goes back in time because the belt keeps slipping. So you'll go for a while, and everything will be fine. And then the tines will start hitting together, and then you just keep on going, and it goes back in time. So I was okay. Once I figured that out, I was okay. But then every once in a while the belt will slip, or belt will fall off. The belt will jump one of the pulleys, and you have to put the belt on. That's the most aggravating part, is having to put that belt back on. We end up. So I had put 3 new tines on it. We didn't break any of those, but we did break 3 of the old tines, and I guess that's how they get broke, is because you can't run the thing without the tines hitting together. So I think that thing's probably going to go down the road. Probably going to sell that and let somebody else deal with it, or scrap it, one or the other. It works. I shouldn't say scrap it. It does work. It was worth what we got our money's worth out of it, what we paid for it, I guess. It did its job. And Drake's chasing a duck hen. But grandfather's rake, and we about everything we did with hay this year we fought with. Everything we've got's old equipment. The hay rake was my grandfather's. I ended up putting a whole new wheel on that one, and it did okay. I mean, it raked hay, but it would clump up. It would it raked hay. It would but it would clump up. You would have a windrow, and it picks the hay up. You put the farthest wheel over where your hay is, and it moves it back to the second wheel, then back to the third wheel, then to the fourth wheel, and then goes to makes your windrow. But it would go through the first, second, it'd get to the third, and it'd start clumping up, and you'd have a big clump, and then all of a sudden that clump would roll out the side of the hay rake, and you'd have a big old hay pile. And then you'd go for a while, and it'd just be a little thin windrow, or no windrow at all, and then it'd clump up, and we had issues with that. I've got to figure that out. And probably part of it may be where I've got that new wheel on there, and I'm looking at it in certain angles, and it looks like the wheel's bigger than the other 3 wheels, so that may have been our whole problem on that. But the inner wheel, or the wheel that holds all the tines, the outside wheel part that holds all the tines on that one, was damaged it was pretty bad shape, so we ended up having to replace the whole wheel on that one. And but it looks to me like the wheel might be a little larger, and that may have been our problem. I want to thank you for tuning in. I haven't made a video in a while, but our subscriber base is still going up, so that's great. Subscribers really help out the channel. So if you like these kind of videos, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time at the Southview Farm. Thanks.